For companies, the importance of adaptability, especially in a changing business landscape, cannot be overstated. And digital transformation is where the real change is happening, and companies are rethinking their way ahead. In this regard, GCCs in India have a huge role to play. They have moved up the value chain from offering just functional support to being core strategic bases. KBR India is one such. It is now the Engineering Excellence Center for all the global KBR projects. To know more about this and how it is crafting future forward solutions in science, technology, and engineering, we have with us Geeta Ramamoorthi, VP and MD, KBR India. Hello, Geeta. Welcome to ET Insights.
Hi, welcome.
Geeta, there was a recent report by Goldman Sachs that said that India is the services factory. So while Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Hyderabad, they have obviously taken the lead. But GCC, they're also now expanding into tier 2 and 3 cities of India. How do you think this success story is going to play across sectors?
Yeah, a very pertinent topic for today. And I think if I look at the GDP of India today, we are estimated to touch about $3.9 trillion by end of the year. And today it's about $3.4 trillion. And it's split between, the rural economy and the urban economy. And within the urban economy, there's a good mix of tier 2 and tier 3 as well as tier 1 cities. And out of about 1,600 GCCs, about 150 to 160 are located in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So the change is happening. I think it's a good change. It's a good, sort of evolution because from two perspectives. One is that when you talk about growth has to be distributed across a range of cities. Otherwise, you see cities, the metros are getting choked, be it in terms of infrastructure or be it in terms of resources, the natural resources. There is a lopsided development that can, really hurt. So I think by expanding to tier 2 and tier 3 cities, this will give an opportunity for even distribution. The second thing is talent. Today, what's happening, or until now, what was happening was quite a few people had to move out of their tier 2 or tier 3 cities to the tier 1 cities to find job opportunities. And this was not always successful. Some were able to, make that shift. Some were looking for, jobs within their own cities and even settled for roles that were not befitting their professional qualifications or experience. So I think it's a very welcome move. And the companies that have been able to expand in smaller cities like, let's say, Lucknow or Jaipur or Coimbatore are reporting the kind of talent they have is outstanding and the productivity is also brilliant. If you take the case of Apple, they've set up a huge manufacturing facility in Hubli and it is setting the stage for larger companies, manufacturing services to open up and go into tier 2 and tier 3 cities. For global capability centers, this is fantastic because we are continuing to grow. GCCs, as you said, have evolved from being long corridor operations to capability centers to innovation centers. And if you look at that growth, which means you really have to tackle the war for talent. And if you kind of restrict yourselves only to the tier 1 cities, you're always going to struggle. So by actually reaching out to the opportunities in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, you can attract the best talent, you have better retention also opportunity, and thirdly, ability to scale up, while keeping the costs moderate is also a great thing.
Geeta, talking about ESGs, which are now integrated into business operations, what role do you think GCCs play in addressing ESG challenges and optimizing asset performance?
I think there are 2-3 things which are coming to my mind when I talk about ESGs. So on the environmental side, talking about sustainability, ESGs are sort of the poster girls or poster boys of their parent companies in driving a lot of these initiatives. It could be things as simple as doing a beach cleaning drive, to looking at the energy efficiency within the office operations, to larger things like developing and building solutions, cutting edge solutions based on digital technology to do the carbon calculation, for their clients, or to actually help their clients to put up facilities with least level of carbon emissions, which involves, digital and analytics. I'm seeing all of this at play. If you take the example of KBR, India team does a great job in building some, sort of in-house solutions that are patented, and we are able to take it to our clients, help them to deploy it, and it has driven a lot of business performance upsides. For example, one of the solutions that we have is on operations and maintenance, and what it does is it helps our client very accurately use the data that is captured from its assets real time, and by driving intelligent analytics we are able to tell them beforehand what is going to be the performance, the asset performance. Is there going to be a decline or a deterioration, at what point in time, and what should you do to intervene and extend the life of the asset. So in the case of a particular client, this is very successfully done, and then we were able to drive down about 30% of the OPEX cost, in 1 year. And the savings reportedly have been like $40 million. And all this solution development was done out of India GCCs. So this is directly touching our clients, not just something that's internal to our operations, but really having a far-reaching impact for our customers. So that's on the environmental sustainability side. When you talk about social, I can't but also mention about diversity, equity and inclusion. And here GCCs I've seen in India are so passionate and committed to this cause. From our own company standpoint, we have our employee resource groups that are dedicated to furthering this cause. And we provide a platform to our women particularly, because we have started with gender diversity where still there is quite a bit to do. And women can come together, and they also use the opportunity to exchange notes with their colleagues in other parts of KBR. We bring in speakers from outside where they share their experience, life journey and experience of how they encountered different challenges to rise in their careers, and also giving tips to them to overcome their fears, right? Because it's been a journey. If you look at the overall industry, there are some which are doing exceedingly well in this agenda, but there are some where the diversity quotient is still low. And this also serves as a platform to kind of come up and speak. So there's one particular initiative we have called Rise to the Mic, which is really about encouraging women who are naturally not so confident of speaking up or sharing their perspectives in big platforms to open up in smaller forums, speak, share their views, or really present something on a topic that's close to them, to their heart. So I think this is all turning out to be very positive, because some of them have now moved on to take bigger roles after being part of these initiatives. So this is one on the social side, but we also go out to schools, connect with particularly girl students. Because when you talk about STEM, the representation of women is still not at the level that we want it to be. It is moving up, but we still want it to move faster. So KBR is trying to do an outreach, and from GCC side in India, we are partnering with organizations, external organizations, to go and sort of demystify the myth that organizations like KBR is meant only for kind of roles that will suit men, but really talk about how they can, as women, have thriving careers, how we provide a right enabling environment. We have to start at the grassroots level. So we bring school children here, we talk about the work we do, and they get excited and they say, I want to become engineer, in future. So I think it's at multiple levels we are doing this, and then talking to universities, and then also partnering with organizations on diversity hiring. So on the social side as well, apart from bringing in, diverse workforce, we also look at how we can contribute, to, let's say, underrepresented sections through CSR. And the third bit really is about governance. I think in governance, analytics and reporting plays a very key role. So here again, GCCs have been doing amazing work. I know of a lot of these companies, particularly from India. They are supporting their global corporations in reporting on, maybe environmental aspects, the carbon footprint, reporting about performance of assets, and then a range of topics which actually serves the overall requirement around governance. It's about due diligence, internal audit, and a host of things. So the power of GCCs is just waiting to be unlocked. There is some success for sure, but there's a lot more we can do. As you rightly mentioned, we have evolved so much. I think if we have to make a big shift in ESG and support our parent companies, GCCs have tremendous opportunities. We have the talent, we have the right environment, we have the ecosystem, in all the cities that we operate from, and the passion really to keep moving up the value chain.
Geeta, you touched upon both environmental and social aspects of it. I'll take both one by one. Starting with environmental first. So KBR offers everything from inventory management to sustainable tech solutions. How are you employing AI as a tool in optimizing operations for your clients?
Sure, that's a lovely topic, because AI is a big buzzword, but for KBR it's not just a buzzword. KBR has two large businesses. So one is government solutions and the other is sustainable technology solutions. In both these businesses, KBR has successfully developed solutions for our clients, leveraging the power of artificial intelligence and machine learning. I'll just take one example. So when you talk about government solutions, we do some cutting edge work in the area of health systems, right? So there is space as well as health system, and KBR has been able to leverage artificial intelligence and machine learning in helping us derive the right inputs, right intelligence by acquiring all the data that's available in multiple systems. So we have scientists, we also have scholars who do a lot of analytics and cutting edge work that provide very high end solutions to our clients to be able to determine how astronauts have to kind of behave in space, what are the challenges they will face. So this is on the healthcare side, but also from a biological impact of space flight, that's another very very what should I say, niche area where KBR has been able to drive a lot of intelligence. So I would say these are the deep tech areas where KBR has leveraged artificial intelligence. And some of these solutions are really, world class, best in class, and the only one of its kind, which are actually putting us in a pole position, because the right kind of data and intelligence is required when you talk about large organizations, space research organizations, which are really trying to look at how the human species can thrive in a multi-planet environment, right? So this is very, very big and very, very exciting. So on the government solution side, KBR has actually done this extremely successfully. When you talk about the sustainable technology solution side, I earlier mentioned about some of our own in-house patented solutions. And this also leverages the power of data and artificial intelligence. We usually do this for customers that have already acquired KBR licenses, technology licenses, and they've implemented it. And they look for support on how to enhance the asset life. So we go in and apply artificial intelligence for the data that we have captured, for structured data, and this provides an opportunity for them to literally see, in real time, if you change a few parameters, whether it's pressure or temperature or whatever it is, what's going to happen to the asset or the facility that they have, and how can they prevent a massive failure. So this is something they've already delivered, and like I mentioned earlier in my conversation, it has driven a lot of profit generation for our clients. So through these means, KBR is really establishing itself as a lead player in the application of AI and ML in our solutions. But we're not stopping with that. Now with generative AI, taking a lot of mind space, we are also piloting some solutions internally as well as externally. And very quickly we will be able to take to our clients some really, really world-beating solutions that will make a huge difference to clients in terms of their project planning as well as execution.
Geeta, talking about increasing the asset life, how is your company helping its clients de-risk its green investments?
KBR has always been committed to moving from the high carbon intensive fuel sources to the low carbon intensive sources or net zero. And in this journey, we have developed some really unique solutions, one of which really is about combining some of the portfolio of tools we have to help our clients plan well in advance what kind of investments are required. For example, if a client wants to put up a new hydrogen facility, right, or a green ammonia facility, what this solution does is it helps them very quickly estimate what could be the total cost of putting up the facility, plus or minus 30%, because you can't be very precise without knowing too much about it, but then it gives a ballpark number. Secondly, it also provides the client with a view of what should the layout look like, right? And then thirdly, it also has some elements of picking the right equipment. We help them to select the right equipment that will really leverage the KBR licensed technology and provide the maximum output for the client. And fourthly, there's also a simulation, application that's part of it, which will visually tell them, how this facility will look at, and you can play through multiple scenarios. And last but not the least, but most important, I'm coming to the green part, which is apart from, telling them about what's the cost of the green hydrogen facility and all of that, through this process, if you do go for a certain layout, what will be the carbon emission in the process? So we tell them beforehand. So they are armed with that information. So this way, the intent is to help clients de-risk, themselves from their green energy investments. We feel this is extremely important as companies, large or small, are starting to move ahead on the journey of investing in green energy solutions and green energy capacities. And it's an area where the application of our deep domain expertise of all our engineers and research scientists, plus the leveraging the technology that we have, the new technologies that we have and driving digital, will make a huge difference to our clients.
Geeta, now moving to the second part of your answer in ESG, the social impact. KBR Chennai, I think it just completed its decade.
Yes.
So how are you using the local talent and nurturing it in your operations?
I want to mention about the growth in Chennai, and we are present today in Chennai, Bangalore, Gurgaon and Pune, and we've been around for 10 years in Chennai, as you rightly said, but from our NCR, in the NCR region for more than like 14 to 15 years. I want to talk particularly about the growth in Chennai we've seen in the last 2 years. A lot of the talent that we have has come from, in and around Chennai, maybe outside also, some, beyond Chennai as well. But this has given us tremendous opportunity to go into engineering colleges in Tier 2, for example. We went to universities just outside of Chennai, whether it is Coimbatore or Salem, where again brilliant engineering colleges are there and students are, extremely talented and looking for the right companies to, start off their career with. We brought in people from around the, state. A lot of this has been obviously from, when you talk about, the graduates, it's obviously from, Tamil Nadu and a few outside of Tamil Nadu. But you talk about the lateral hiring, it's mostly typically people who are working already here in this region, so locally. And I think for us, it's about the employee value proposition. When you talk about really putting your right brand for KBR, all companies hire and the war for talent is always there. But then the key thing is, how do you promote yourself as a company that's the best place to work, right? KBR is a great place to work, and whether it's men or women, we've been rated one of the best places to work. And secondly, it's also about, encouraging, people to understand what we do, like, going to various colleges, doing road shows, participating in events, whether these are forums where we bring GCCs together. We leverage these opportunities to socialize and talk about what we do. So in Chennai, what it has done is that it has made us more visible, so we are able to get the right talent. After they come on board, we give them tremendous opportunities for learning and development. So talking about nurturing talent, we spend time with each of our employees trying to understand what their career path is likely to be, what is their interest in 3, 5 and 10 years time. So the career conversations actually help us to carve out career paths for each individual. And that way, each one has a clear vision of where he or she wants to be. And the organization partners with them by providing the right, training opportunities, as well as helping them to also move around, whether it's within departments here or across offices. So global mobility is also a big thing, and we have started to make some progress there. Through all these initiatives, plus, we had a hackathon event last year, which was a global hackathon event involving all our teams to come up with brilliant ideas to solve the biggest problems the world is facing, but also which KBR is interested to solve, which is digitalization for, net zero, as well as sustainability. What new sustainability initiatives should we focus on? So as a result of this, brilliant minds came together. There was a lot of enthusiasm among our teams to participate. So here, the teams in India actually were so passionate that we had to stop them from enrolling, because the first time we had a cap on the number of participants. So I think that has also gone down very well with the teams. They are now starting to think, how can I innovate? What should I learn? How could I equip myself? So nurturing talent is a very key point, as you rightly mentioned. And I think we are really committed to ensuring that we don't just bring in the right talent, but we nurture them, develop them as future leaders. And we also have leadership development programs at multiple levels, whether it's frontline leaders program or senior leader development program. This again targets the areas where we feel that they need some assistance or intervention to help them evolve as future leaders.
Geeta, my final question will be around, like you mentioned, diverse teams and talent and innovation. I was going through your website. You have a number of ERGs and you are committed to increasing board representation also. Diversity and inclusion is at the core of everything KBR does, clearly. How do you think that has delivered value for you in terms of innovation?
Absolutely, you're so right. ERGs has been a huge success in KBR, and I've seen that myself, grow from strength to strength in the last 2.5 years. In KBR, we have few ERGs that are very, very active. One is Aspire for Women. Two is Impact for Early Career Professionals. These are, any people with experience from 0 to 10 years. And these are like, these are global networks. There is an Impact chapter in India, there's an Aspire chapter in India, but it's part of a global ecosystem and a global network. Then there's also, a smaller one called OK Now for Mental Wellness. We also have Pride and Allies in a small way in, here in India, but, starting to evolve and build. So the impact this is having is multifold. One is that these ERGs are focused on different things. When you talk about Aspire for Women, they're focused on helping women come together, exchange notes, get inspired by leaders or speakers, whether it's internal or external, understand how they can relate to their journey and feel motivated. And we also drive mentoring programs, where these ERGs are also actively involved in helping connect the mentor-mentees. Then thirdly, it's about also identifying what support women need. When you talk about Aspire, most of them are very talented and capable, but they may not have had the opportunity to go to, a forum and talk or present. So these ERGs provide that platform where they encourage women to, talk about a particular topic or, put the spotlight on them, let them run events. So ERGs have helped transform some of the women. I know of one or two people with 13, 14 years of experience who were hesitant to go in front of a crowd and speak. And today one of them is playing a huge role supporting a massive global initiative. So it is transforming in front of our eyes. So that's for Aspire. Then Impact and Early Career Professionals. They've been the first to adopt innovation. So when we actually wanted to apply new technologies or test out metaverse, with augmented reality and virtual reality, this team was the first one which brought its young career professionals to experience it, report back feedback, and helped us to progress that initiative. So they are really driving innovation. And also I mentioned earlier about hackathon. This was completely led by the ERG, and for India it was led by our India ERG lead, which is tremendous because it's the first time we are doing in KBR. It gave them tremendous confidence, and also the seed of innovation is being planted very deeply. And other ERGs are now also very much moving ahead on the journey, whether it's mental wellness or other areas. They are really thinking out of the box to say, how can we drive better impact? How can we bring in transformative change? So for me, I think definitely ERGs are a powerful channel for us to drive innovation and out of the box thinking. And we involve them just like our very senior leaders, in important event planning or, brainstorming with them when we have global leadership visiting. They are always a part of global leadership team events where, they present what are the initiatives they've taken, ask for feedback, ask for advice. And this has been an extremely powerful tool to drive innovation from a KBR standpoint.
I think, Geeta, Impact and Aspire, they don't just seem the names of your ERGs, but also at the core of what you do at KBR, creating impact through your solutions and aspiring people through your various policy initiatives.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being in conversation with ET Insights. Thank you, Geeta.
Thank you so much. It's been brilliant talking to you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.